This is my bandsaw. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My bandsaw is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I must master my life. Without me, my bandsaw is useless. With my bandsaw, I am useless. I must use my bandsaw true. I must cut straighter than my enemy who is trying to kill me. I must cut him before he cuts me. I will.
Before God, I swear this creed. My bandsaw and myself are the defenders of my country. We are the masters of our enemy. We are the saviors of my life. So be it.
Until there is no enemy, but peace. Amen.
Welcome back to Woods Creek Workshop. My name is Yuchel. Most of us have a 4x6 metal bandsaw. They're great for cutting down stock and whatnot, but they do have their shortcomings. Today we're gonna make few upgrades to mine and make it more usable, so join me. Now I know my bandsaw is not the cleanest in the world, but don't judge because I know yours looks just like this. All messy, greasy, dirty. The first thing we're gonna work on is the clamping mechanism or the fence. It works fine for longer stock, but you notice the blade is about an inch away from the edge of the fence. So if you're trying to clamp and hold on to something short and make a cut, it does not work. It doesn't grab it. Normally I would just leave this and use a factory finish since it's just going to be a clamp, but this just happens to have some dings and dents so things don't sit flat. So we'll take a real light skim cut to smooth it out. We have both pieces all machined, ready to go, but before we go any further, we're gonna have to clean up all this mess. So let's get started. I went and clamped the fences where I think I want them. It's about 1/16 of an inch away from the blade. I went and used my Randy Richard carbide scribe and scribed all the way around, outlining the existing old fence. I also marked where the webbings are so I know where to drill. I'm going to drill and tap some holes 5/16 inch by 18 thread. So if I ever need to attach a fixture to this fence, I can easily do that. The tap I have is not conducive to power tapping. I could order one, but it won't be here in time, so we're just gonna have to do it the good old-fashioned way. One of the common questions that I get asked is where I got this ratcheting tap holder. Believe it or not, it's from Harbor Freight. It's made in Taiwan and it's around $17. It works pretty good. My only complaint is this ring gets easily bumped and the direction gets reversed, but that's alright. I won't make you watch all these holes being tapped. I'll bring you back when I'm done. We got it temporarily clamped to the stock fence. We're going to drill and tap the holes initially, but as you can see, there just isn't enough material because of the webbing. So we'll drill a through hole for these bolts and we'll tighten it with the nut at the back end. I guess I need to demagnetize the bit. This is the movable jaw. We'll drill and countersink some holes to mount onto the existing piece. This is the moving jaw. We're gonna drill and tap. As you can see, I drilled and tapped fixture holes. Now let's mount this. Let's mount the movable jaw. I'll tell you later what this extra hole is. Let's take a closer look at the new jaws. As you'll see, these are drilled and tapped for 5/8 by 18 threads, so you can put stops, or one of the things that I'm going to make is a 45-degree angle gauge that can clamp on here to make 45 cuts a lot easier. The new jaws stick out about an inch further than the stock, and it comes really close to the blade. What that does is you can hold short pieces way out here. Now you have enough grip. But you'll notice the left side of the jaws will collapse. You typically put a spare piece of material there to clamp. But if you recall, we drill and tap the hole. So here's a bolt. I quickly cleaned off the head on the lathe, get rid of the letters and whatnot, and smooth out the other end as well. If it's a 1/2-inch thread. Now you can grab the material tightly without having to find right thickness scrap material. If you need to grab a wider piece, you can put the bolt backwards, and that works just as well. Here I have 2 different length bolts, so I can easily swap out if I need to. Now let's take a look at the table. The Bandsaw originally came with a really chintzy sheet metal table that you screw on and remove whenever you need to use it. Well, I don't know where it went because it didn't do me any good, and I just been using this tiny footprint that came with the saw, and it's time to do something about that. Thanks to US Postal Service, I was able to make a cardboard mock-up of the table I need, and we just need one in steel. By the way, I want to say thanks to Randy Richard at Randy Richard in the Shop. He sent me this beautiful hand knocker, custom made for me. Has his shop logo and my shop logo, both engraved on there. It is loaded with lead shots, and the heads are interchangeable. He also sent me a brass head. Thank you, Randy. And if you don't already have one of his carbide scribes, you should get one. They're amazing. This one, he even engraved my shop name on there for me. Thank you, Randy. I want a table that's small enough where I can just leave it on and it won't interfere with the horizontal use of the saw. So this is the size I came up with. You'll want to make sure the bracket is nice and flat. Mine had some paint drips and things that would have prevented the table from sitting flush. These are 1/4 screws. The bracket was already drilled and tapped for that. Overall, the table is 7 inches wide and 5 inches deep at the deepest end. The shallow end is about 3 1/4 inches, and it is 3/16 inch thick. This will allow me to get more support at the front as I'm feeding into it. Let me show you how it folds down. Look at that. You can just leave it on there. The new jaws in the table are certainly great upgrades to the bandsaw, but you know what? The best upgrade I've ever made to this is the stand. Let me show you. The original stand that comes with these saws are just treacherous. In fact, it should be outlawed. They're cheap, flimsy sheet metal. You look at it wrong and they just fold on you. So anyway, they got smashed, and a couple years ago, this is the one I built. It's all made out of 2-inch angle iron. This portion, 27 inches. The bottom had to be a little longer. It is 36 inches because I had to extend it out the back. Otherwise the whole thing will tip over when you put the saw in a vertical position. 20 gauge sheet metal for the shelf here. And for the pan is also 20 gauge sheet metal. I hammered and bent the edges 45 degrees and MIG welded the corners, and it works great. The front just have casters on each corner. The back, I put a wider piece in the back. Is 23 inches wide and put casters at the end of those. That really gives the stability it needs when it's in vertical position. The overall height to the chip pan is 31 inches. The chip pan is 14.5 inches wide and 28 inches long. I also drilled and welded on a pipe flange for future use. That will be the drain when I add a coolant system to it. I'm happy with how these two upgrades turned out, but my brain's already going 1,000 miles an hour thinking of a few other things that I want to do. So I will share those ideas with you in a future video. But for now, thanks for watching.